Hey everyone, Josh here with a close-up look at a Star Wars toy. And today we're going to unbox the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike from the Mission Fleet Collection. So, before we take him out of the box, I just real quick want to look at the packaging and show you guys that. And of course, if you're familiar with this line, you know there's not a lot of information on the back. And yeah, I have a little box damage there, but they're just telling you the contents of the box, and they're giving you some dimensions for them. And so you can see they're saying the Scout Trooper is 1.2 inches by 2.5. So these are 2.5 inch tall figures. But let's get them out of here and see what's in this box and see what it does. So, oops, and one of my pieces of tape's already broke. So, all right. Well, as far as I know, this thing hasn't been opened. At least I haven't done it. So let's see what's in here. And okay, so they actually have a little bit of color backing. This is the first one I've opened like this, so that's pretty cool. And they actually have a little plastic tray. And as you can see right off the bat, one of the things that's kind of standing out to me is the color of the speeder bike. But let's get him out of here and see what he does. We have the blaster bolt that's going to come out for the little cannon there. And whoop. Okay, so there you have the gun on his hand, but and then we have the Scout Trooper himself, and we'll look at him a little bit closer here in a second. Let's get the rest of this stuff out of here. There's a small little cannon, and this is what the blaster bolt goes with. And I believe that's gonna install. Oh, excuse me here. These things are in here pretty good. And this looks like to me is a little side cart for the speeder bike. And it's kind of, they show it on the packaging, and we'll take a look at how they interact. And then, of course, we have the speeder bike itself. And so I'm not claiming to be the super expert on everything Star Wars, but if I remember correct, I don't remember from the Mandalorian show, and that's what this set is from season 1 of the Mandalorian. And it's that hilarious scene, and to be honest with you, the first time I watched it, I was laughing just out loud. It was hilarious to me. But the scene where they have Grogu in the bag and the speeder bike pilot keeps punching him, I don't recall specifically if their bikes were this color white like this. I could be wrong, or this could just be for the toy. And I also don't recall them having like a little side cart. In fact, I don't recall that on any show with speeder bike. So this could be a thing just for the toy. But so let's real quick, we're going to go through the speeder bike pilot first. And yeah, as you can see, he's already got his famous pistol in his hand, but I'm trying to get it to where you can kind of take a look at it there. And then I'm kind of curious, is Grogu actually in the bag? So this is from the scene in the show where Grogu would have been in this bag, and the speeder bike pilot kept punching him, and it was kind of a funny little gag. But to me, let's see here. Let's go through him here, all his articulation here. But what I wanted to see more than anything, does this bag come off? And it looks like it should, and it looks like it does. But I don't want to break the guy. Okay, so it does come off, so you can remove the bag from this guy, and you can see they kind of put it like a shaping on it to so the pilots have these little like part of their armor sticking out here, and they have the strap so it goes around that. So that's a pretty cool little design feature there. But real quick, we're going to run through his articulation here and see what he does for a little 2-inch figure, but on the head you have up and down, you should have rotation, and yeah, and it feels like it's on a ball joint, so that's pretty cool. You get a lot of range of motion there. And then just going through his shoulder articulation here, you should have full rotation and up and down. And then on his wrist here, you should have rotation. And I'm trying to see if they put, yeah, and they put a little trigger finger out for him there. And then on the legs, they're real simple here. You just are going to have back and forth. And they got a pretty good range of motion there. So, all right. So let's see how he interacts with the gun and how he holds it. And they kind of have a unique weapon. Okay, they do a good job. They kind of have this extra trigger guard around him, but you can see how they designed it so he fits his whole hand in there. Looks good. And he should have a really good grip on it here. Yep, okay. And then clearly it's meant to be in this hand because he's got the trigger finger out, but I'd be willing to bet that you can put it in both hands. So yeah, very cool. So excellent. So let's see how he fits on the speeder bike, because I'm kind of curious, because a lot of the times with the figures that have a little bit more articulation, they're easier to fit on the. Okay, I see what they did. They thinned out the center part so you can actually get his legs on there. But real quick, let's just look at the speeder bike and see what kind of functionality it has, and if anything on it actually moves. And other than this turret here, which it doesn't really move, it feels like it should, but I also feel like I'm forcing it, and I don't want to break the little guy. So, okay, so the foot pedals, that's interesting. They kind of, I don't know why they do that, but you can see they slide back and forth here. That's kind of interesting. And nothing at the flaps. But, and what this here is that there's this little side cart, and we'll see how that interacts with it here in a second. But, yeah, so you can see how they kind of thinned out the part where the rider sits, and so he just sits right on top of there. You should be able to just turn his wrists with the wrist articulation. And let's see if how he rides this thing. All right, very cool. He's staying on there. That's what you want to see. Actually, it looks like he's riding it. So, because if you are an older collector like me, and you can remember back to when these were first released on the older 5-point articulation figures, it was different in the way they had the rider sit on there, because he didn't have bending knees. So it was, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, I think they just kind of had him sit on there with his legs straight out forward. But there is what he looks like. So we also have this little side cart, and I guess they should have put another trooper in here, but yeah, you can see there's just this little tab sticking out, and it mates up here with the speeder bike, so that's how it's going to attach. But it's just like a little side cart you sit on with one little blaster cannon. So, and I don't see any like moving parts on it. And you can see on this one, on the main bike, it doesn't have it, but this one you can see there's little pegs to actually put his feet in. So let's just first see how it interacts when you put them together. So I kind of want to see how it fits together. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's something I think they could have fit into a movie or show. Well, let's see how he rides on it. And yeah, I guess you could buy more than one of these and have like a pilot on the... But yeah, there's no real... Well, here, let's take him out of here so we can see. And they did the same thing. The center part's really thin, and I want to try and get these foot pegs to work that he has on here. So, okay, we got 1 and 2. Okay, yeah, so, oh, okay. So, what we would want to do at this point, that's what he looks like on it, and very cool, he's staying on it, is from there you want to take this little blaster cannon and the projectile, and you can see how that kind of fits together. And yeah, there's just going to be a little spring-loaded thing there, so that's cool. But what do you do with this set is anytime you see this shaped hole right here, what you want to do is you put this on here, and some of the other ones that I've dealt with have had handles on them, and this one does not, so it's kind of interesting. I thought it would give him something to like grab onto, but it doesn't really. But you can see, I guess this is you can put his arms up there, but there's really nothing for him to grab onto. And that's, yeah, I just did a review of another one, and they a couple of the figures came with these cannons, but the cannons have these handles on the side, so you could actually put the figures' hands on them, but he does not do that. But you can see what it would look like all put together. And then, well, here, let's do this first. And yeah, you can spin these and rotate them, so that's pretty neat. But if you had it all put together all at once, that's what it's going to look like, all assembled. So, alright, that's pretty cool. Okay. And yeah, so what I was talking about here is you guys can take this cannon off, and if you look at the speeder bike, you can see there's another one of those holes on the top. I thought there might have been a bottom one. I'm still trying to figure out why this landing gear slides, or these foot pedals slide. But yeah, you can also put the cannon right on top of the speeder bike. So there you go. Oh, here's the other holes. They're on the side. So you can put it on the side to have like a little side cannon. They have it on both sides here. So if you don't want the side compartment, you could do that. So, alright. So, pretty cool. This is a neat little set. I always like when they're creative and they create something that's unique that wasn't in this show or the movies, and they kind of put it in the toys, as long as it has a kind of functionality to it. And I like the idea of a side cart to a speeder bike. So, very cool little set. I'm kind of impressed with these Mission Fleet overall. I've been buying them for a little while, but I hadn't put a lot of time into... I want to make sure we're putting him back together properly. I haven't put a lot of time in opening these things and kind of exploring them a little bit. Now that I'm doing it for videos, I'm actually really kind of impressed with this line. So it's difficult to get a lot of functionality and things that collectors want out of a little tiny figure like this. So I'm kind of impressed how the movement and the articulation and the functionality of everything. So, all right, guys, very cool. Let's give him his final little test here. Kind of gonna move the camera, pan the camera a little bit, or tilt the camera a little bit, and make sure he will do the final test to me, which is, will an action figure stand on its own without the help of a stand? And he does very well. So excellent. I am impressed with this little set and the Mission Fleet series overall. So there he is, everyone. This is the Scout Trooper and speeder bike from the Mandalorian TV show, Season 1. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.